Julie. Hello, friends, and happy Wednesday. We are 3 weeks into the government shutdown. The Republicans Donald Trump owns Donald Trump, who is also responsible for the other two longest shutdowns we've ever had. I'm Joe Carducci, co-founder of the Siren Network. I'm joined by the beautiful ladies and intelligent and sassy and snarky and badass ladies you see before you. Set Mayer, co-founder of the Seneca Project. She's, of course, joined by Michelle Kinney, also co-founder of the Seneca Project, and Julie Rikinski, author of Salty Politics on Substack. Hi, friends.
Hello.
Everybody in the chat. I love how the chat gets kicked off like so early. It's like, hey, friends, like you guys are honestly life-giving. So I want to say a shout out to the chat and also hello, friends.
Hello. This is the first time we've seen each other since No Kings, yes?
It is.
That's true.
Yeah. Oh, that's I love that because that's actually a really good place to start off. That is a positive, forward-looking, empowering, Republican triggering place to start off. By the way, I just want to sidebar. They cannot settle on a narrative, and that tells me that means that we are on the offense, and that's what we keep doing. They're like, well, if they hate America, then it was all terrorists. Then none of that happened. So now it's all old people and white people and people who can't dance. And yeah. I love it. Let's kick it off there.
You gotta love that JD Vance is now going off on old white people. Like,
right.
That's your base, sweetheart. So, like,
Have you looked at a Trump rally?
Yeah, right. Have you looked at Trump?
Well, yeah, that's a given.
Yeah, wait, that, and they're saying that those images are fake. That's my favorite. They're like, that's the Women's March. And the thing is, truth doesn't matter. You're like, wait, first of all, where are the pussy hats? Sorry, Julie's dad, but the trees in January were bare in Boston. They are not bare yet. It's been quite warm in the Northeast.
That was one of their things, right? They're like, "Oh, nice try. The trees are green and it's October, and that's normally when they're red." And somebody like walked out into the park and took a picture of like that park in Boston. They were like, sorry, they're green. Like it's unseasonably warm. Thanks for playing."
Yeah. No, it's unbelievable when you have to grasp at the seasons are different in the background to try to delegitimize the fact that history was made on Saturday and that over 7 million people in 2,700 places across the country came out against Donald Trump and did it peacefully, did it joyfully, did it without incident anywhere. I mean, when I saw that figure that there were no arrests in New York City.
Yep. One of you No Kings. That?
Right. Like I was like, wow. Yep. I mean, there were arrests in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. There were arrests in Texas of MAGA people harassing No Kings protesters. But and I'm sure maybe there were some scuffles somewhere, but we didn't really hear about it.
There were some MAGA arrests, right?
I mean, that's what I'm saying. The MAGAs were the ones who got arrested. So, I mean, I haven't heard of any actual No Kings protesters that got arrested. I don't know. Maybe there was the Frog and the Pillsbury Doughboy inflatables got into a shouting match somewhere, but it was really a different, completely different vibe on Saturday. Yep. I mean, Michelle and I were in Philly the first time, and that was like a very patriotic. Everybody was like, fuck this. Like people were more like, yeah. This time, Michelle, you were in New York. I was in DC. You were in Jersey, right, Joe? And Julie, you were in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, it's interesting because we have a really good cross section, and I want to talk about that when after you go here. I want to talk about how representative that is of what happened that day.
Yeah, 1,000%. Because looking around, the vibe on Saturday, and I said this when I was on with Don and Jim and Joy on their live stream. I was like, first of all, it feels bigger, and secondly, which it apparently was, and secondly, it was the atmosphere was really like people got the memo that this was supposed to be joyful resistance. And maybe it was because of what's happened in Portland and the absolute, what was the term, Michelle, that Eliza Orlins used? Something about strategic frivolity.
Yeah.
Strategic frivolity,
that's exactly
right?
What it was. Yep.
Which is a great term. And it was, Ezra Levin had another term that he used. He was on Smirconish actually this week and talking about it. And it was another term that they used, which was really good. It had to do with like laughter activism or humor and activism. He coined a word for that, and I can't remember it now. But the strategic frivolity of the dance party aspect.
Yeah, I'm just looking at it now. She says tactical. It's basically the same thing. Tactical frivolity. Yeah,
tactical frivolity. Yeah, and that's what you saw. I mean, I can tell you that I didn't expect. Did I freeze? Oh, there I am. I did not expect to be singing "Don't Stop Believin'" and like Black Eyed Peas at the No Kings protest march in front of the Department of Labor and in front of the huge North Korean sized banner of Donald Trump's fucking face. And people were there dancing and like having a great time. And a little girl with her dad. One of the most powerful pictures that I took that day was this little girl. She couldn't have been more than 4 or 5, with her dad dressed like a princess with a sign that said, "No kings, yes princesses." That just gave me all the feels for a lot of reasons. But I thought to myself, so these are the people that Caroline Levitt and Scott Bessent and all of these people, JD Vance and Stephen Miller and all those fucking people had the audacity to say they're Hamas terrorist lovers, they're domestic terrorists, this is a hate America rally, all of this. And I'm like, are you serious? So I'm hoping that Democrats or somebody focuses in on that. Force these Republicans to own the insults, because how dare they? Again, how dare they? Don't let them get away with that. And then, of course, you juxtapose it with what Trump was doing and what Trump is doing to the country now, which is a whole other discussion, which we're going to get to in a minute. But it was great on Saturday. It really
cool. Was. And I have a picture of you, Joe, that I'm going to throw because I'm going through my laptop trying to find what I saw.
Mine isn't as peace loving as some, let's just say. But it is important because they had that one of their talking points, like I said, they can't settle on one, is that we were paid. This is the one, actually, this is the one that if anything, and Michelle, I put two other ones in our group chat, but this is the one that actually should sort of worry us, I think, because he is not even a little bit toying with the flirting with the idea of investigating, right?
Yes.
So this is the threats. But if Soros was handing out paychecks, I would like mine because I did not get one.
This is great.
But it was, that's the thing, they cannot settle on a narrative, but they have to say that this is my favorite. This is what whenever they say it was Hamas and it was people who hate America and domestic terrorists, this was at the Newton, New Jersey rally, right? Which is New Jersey, very red. It is a very red corner. A lot of New Jersey is red. Newton is extremely red. I grew up next door. This is Hamas.
Right.
What? Yeah. And so they can't, we have to keep shoving this.
That is in Red Bank, New Jersey, actually. Somebody said that, which is in a red county, but a little blue dot in Monmouth County.
And I want to play this quote, or Jesus, guys, I cannot talk. Just so everybody knows, when I would hit the live button for us to hear, I go, bye, everybody. Now I don't know words. Anyways, here's a clip of some kid standing on a garbage can, and I think about him too. Like, what an amazing little kid, and his dad's right next to him.
Down with Donald Trump! Down with Donald Trump! Down with Donald Trump! Down with!
And this guy's like 90 or something.
Down with Donald Trump! Down with Donald Trump!
It's the greatest. And I
love it.
Looking at him, seeing that like really elderly man in front of me with a cane, and he had his caregiver with him, and they were walking together, and I was just like, wow.
Yeah.
Well, I will say to that point, I had a bunch of signs, and I posted it on my social media that I had a whole bunch of signs made, and I couldn't decide because they were all pretty good. And so I carried like a bunch of them with me and kind of switched them out during the rallies and during the rally. And the one that got the most reaction was the one about, what are you going to tell your grandparents you did, or your grandkids?
Yeah.
What, when your grandkids ask what you did in this moment, hope to like offer them more than just silence.
Yep.
Yeah.
I cannot tell you how many people stopped me and said, I'm doing this for my grandkids.
Yeah.
Like it was that sign was hit a particular nerve because there were people, and that was across the age spectrum. There
Yep.
were young people, there were older people that were all there understanding that this is so important for us to do because it's bigger than just us. And this is a generational fight, which we say a lot. And it is. I mean, the damage that's being done, it's generational and it's going to take us a generation to probably fix it, but it's got to start somewhere. Between that one and the, what would you have done in 1930s Germany? There were a lot of people older folks who understand that, whose dads fought in World War II. There was a bunch of signs that said, my dad didn't fight Nazis in Italy for this, there were a bunch of those kind of signs too. And people, they were like, thank you for appreciating history.
Yeah.
And I was like, we have to understand that and put it in context.
So
it was very interesting.
So I decided to go to Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, because Bethlehem is located, half of it is located in Northampton County, Pennsylvania, which is the swingiest county in Pennsylvania, which we know is the swingiest state in the nation now. And so I didn't know what to expect. And Bethlehem's like a mid-sized city. Lehigh University's there for people who just want to kind of get a sense of what it is, but it's not necessarily a university town. Bethlehem Steel used to be there. It used to be, the song Allentown by Billy Joel was actually written about Bethlehem, but Allentown's the city next door, and he thought Allentown rhymed better than Bethlehem, but that's
right. It's like there's no such thing as South Detroit either, but they use that because it sounded better as a lyric.
Yeah, I mean, Allentown does exist, but
right. So does Detroit.
Yeah, the city he was writing about was Bethlehem. So,
which is a beautiful city. It is a beautiful city.
Yeah, it's not far from you, Joe. It's actually a beautiful city, but went through kind of, like all these other industrial towns went through depression when Bethlehem Steel shut down because it was just a steel town for like 100 years. And I did not know what to expect because as goes Northampton, so goes the country really. Since 1920, Northampton County has voted for every single president except for 3, one of whom was Al Gore, one of whom was 68, Richard Nixon, and one of whom I believe was like Warren Harding or something. I mean, the point is, it always predicts the president. So I show up, and it was just stunning. I mean, the amount of people was amazing. What was even more amazing is we're walking down one of the main tracks in Bethlehem. The permit, I guess, was just for the sidewalks, but there were so many people. They spilled over into the road. The cops could not have been nicer. Completely kind of not with us, but we're just making sure everybody was okay. Because this was a working road, people were driving down the road as we're marching, and everybody's honking and giving us the thumbs up. Like there was not one person who wasn't like, you go guys, it was great, people had inflatable stuff. And, it was just a mixture of old and young and black and white and middle age and all colors and ages. And it was just amazing. It was just amazing. And, it's kind of sad to say now, I don't think Northampton County would be voting for Trump if they knew now what they knew then. Now that's really full comfort. But it was crazy. It was just amazing.
My mom said the same thing. She went to the same location as the last one in June here in Northern Virginia. And because she wanted to see the difference. And she said there were 4 times more people at this one than in June. 4 times easily. Yeah. And she said that she was out there for a couple hours, and the same thing, Julie, the beeping never stopped. Never stopped. So you just think in Northern Virginia, this area is impacted from multiple angles. The immigration bullshit, what's happening with the government shutdown, what's happening with the governor's race here. Which, by the way, it is tightened, and Abigail Spanberger is barely outside the margin of error right now, which is just insane because that's what happens. Well, that's what happens when you play it safe.
Same in New Jersey, same thing. I'm deeply worried about you guys.
And Jack Ciattarelli, by the way, did you see his surrogate at an event the other night said we're going to ban gay marriage?
Oh, yes. He went further than that. He also said that Jack Ciattarelli won't. This is a Muslim imam, I guess, for some.
Yeah.
Jack Ciattarelli won't take money from the Jews.
Right. Yes. And why isn't that all over? Like, why I mean, I'm not up there, guys. Is there a campaign ad cut immediately with like a fucking $10 million ad buy behind it everywhere?
No,
That
and
is
neither is
insane.
there one. Neither is there one about the Gateway Rail project,
Right.
which to me, if I'm not, but if I'm running that show, then that's no, like, I'm telling you, New Jersey, he's gonna sign up to cancel all these jobs. Like, he doesn't care about you. Like, I don't want to get into the weeds on that necessarily.
I said to my husband when I saw the video about the same-sex marriage ban, I go, do you see this shit? I go, do you see this shit? All you need to do is put captions on this with some ominous music, very, very low, and then say, is this what you want? And then vote for blah, 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 or not even, whatever.
Right.
This is all it needs. Like, this is Jack Giardelli's guy. That's all you need to say. And I said, and then you cut it. And then this is the great thing about data. Like, there's a lot of bad stuff about data, but like, we have data on everyone. You can target same-sex couples in New Jersey, parents of same-sex couples, siblings, neighbors. Like, you can find these people and target them with this.
Target me. I'm not same-sex, and I don't have any same-sex family
well,
members.
Right. I just,
but
I just target the swing districts.
I'm offended by it.
Yeah, I'm just
saying,
like,
close counties, right? You target the close counties where you're concerned that it could go one way or the other. That's who you tell, because it's the independents, the people that are in the middle, that are like, whoa, wait a minute, is that what I want to vote for? Like,
now,
this is not hard.
I will tell you something.
Curious. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Joe.
I'm just curious to see, like, tying this back to the protests, right? Because what Tara, to your point, and everybody else's point about people showing up, anecdotally, I have members of my family who are not political. I have friends who are not political, and they marched. They showed up, right? Like, something has pierced that bubble, but I'm curious to see. And also, to Julie's point, we did have some good old boys, not many. I mean, they love nothing more in my neck of the woods than to get in their F1 small in the pants and drive around with their fucking Confederate flags off the back, flaring.
They're like oversized wheels.
Oh my God, they love nothing more to just casually do that on a freaking Wednesday.
Jersey. I just want people to understand, Confederate flags in the back of the truck in fucking New Jersey. Now, I know we have parts of Jersey that feel like the Confederate South. I know South Jersey, but
I know we have friends from Jersey and from my corner of Jersey in our chat who show up for these. In Parker Space, to your point, he was, when he was an assemblyman or something, he took a picture with a Confederate flag and said, "I hope I don't offend anybody." He is now a state senator. Hello, hi,
wow,
yeah,
he's your state senator, right, Joe?
I think so. No, I don't think I'm in. I don't know the map, and I'm not in Sussex.
Oh, you're not in Sussex. No.
Right.
All right.
No.
So
is the state Senate up? Is the state Senate up in New Jersey?
No, just the assembly.
It's just the assembly. Okay.
Yeah.
But here's what I just want to just quickly tie those together. What I hope is that translates into voting in November, because I'm hoping the good old boys, the few that we saw, that's representative of the interest and excitement to show up for that asshole. Sorry, Julie's dad. And conversely, that the people who don't usually engage with this stuff are like, oh, God damn it, I got to do whatever it takes. Well, so that's
Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz is out here warning people. In the Daily Beast, it reported, he's like, don't sleep on what the No Kings protests represent, because he was part of the Tea Party movement. He was ushered into the Senate on the wave of the Tea Party movement. And this has similar vibes here, as long as the Democrats can keep this coalition inspired to to get out there and organize and make sure that they vote, because that's the key. The Tea Party rallies, they kept them going. They didn't do them once every 6 months.
Right.
Those rallies were going on all the time, whether it was up on the Capitol, up on the Hill, because we used to watch from my house office. I used to watch out the window and be like, oh, they're out there again. Right.
Benjamin Franklin.
Yeah, like they would do it all over the country, and they would protest at town halls. It was a constant drumbeat. And that's what Indivisible started to do earlier in the year with the Doge stuff, when they were sending people to town halls, including Democratic town halls, to say, hey, like, what are you doing? There needs to be that same energy brought to this here. And if they can sustain that, then that's what that translates into actual voting power. And I will just say this, there was another, if people don't think protests work, I was down at UVA, where everybody knows I'm a resident scholar. There was a big thing going on down there there's 9 universities that are being targeted by Trump's Department of Education to sign this bullshit compact that they want to guarantee certain cultural things happen on campus, like certain faculty hires, and you can't, quote, belittle conservative culture on campus. Well, it's bullshit. It's all control again. And then you'll get priority for funding. So the first university, MIT, told Trump's administration to fuck off. They said no. They said no right away. There was a couple others that were still kind of like back and forth, and UVA has a very MAGA interim president right now for the university. And there was some concern that UVA was going to acquiesce. So there was a big rally on grounds at UVA on Friday where I was, and in the middle of that, so it was kind of a precursor to No Kings. Faculty, staff, community members, Charlottesville is a very activist place. Yeah. It's so beautiful down there. I love this time of year there.
But anyway, I think of Unite the Right happening there too.
That's correct. Because you have to remember there's the surrounding part of that part of Virginia.
Right.
Yes, that is where unfortunately the Unite the Right rally happened. And there was
Heather
Heyer was killed, right? But anyway, so there was this big rally Friday at noon on grounds. Like, I don't know, a couple thousand people came out. By 5:00 Friday afternoon, UVA rejected the compact.
See?
So and now others are falling in line. University of Arizona, they just rejected it. So I don't know how many of I think 5 so far out of the 9 have already said no.
Sometimes all it takes is one.
That's right.
That's why you don't obey in advance. That's why you don't obey in advance.
Well, stand up or stand by.
I will say this as a glimmer of hope for New Jersey, at least. I can't speak to Virginia. Democratic vote by mail ballots are coming in at a much higher rate than Republican vote by mail ballots. Now, that's to be expected because Republicans tend to vote on election day. But the good news is that they are coming in at a slightly higher rate than they did 4 years ago when Phil Murphy almost lost that election to Jack Ciattarelli.
They were worried about that, right, Julie? Because there was at some point where it was trending behind. So it looks like
they're not worried enough about anything, unfortunately.
Wow.
But I would say, if she wins, and I will say this as somebody who really is very much a participant and observer in New Jersey politics. If she wins, the first place she should go, she should get in her car from Montclair, New Jersey, where she lives, get on Route 78 and drive down to Bedminster and give Donald Trump the biggest hug of his life. Yeah. Because he will have won because of this energy that we're talking about. Yep. If Jack Ciattarelli wins, and I want people to not get despondent about this, and I'm not saying this is a Democrat, I seriously, if there's one thing I know in my life, it's New Jersey politics. If Jack Ciattarelli wins, it is not a harbinger for things to come next year. It is not a sign that the Democrats can't organize. It is purely because in the history of New Jersey in our lifetime, I believe since 1963, so in the lifetime of everybody on the screen right now, not one candidate has won when he has succeeded a 2-term candidate of the same party. Like, people are just sick of it, right? In New Jersey, like, Democrats have been in charge for 2 terms. So if he wins, it is a very New Jersey specific reason that he won. And I don't want people to suddenly take that and to say, oh my God, what does this bode for 26? What does this mean for the future of democracy? It means nothing other than people are really, really, really tired of single party rule in New Jersey. And if it were not for Donald Trump, Jack Ciattarelli would be running away with this election.
Yeah, double digits.
Yeah. To turn it back to a more national lens, though, I think it is interesting right now that Republicans are telling us that they see the writing on the wall every which way they can, because they know that no matter what parties have been in power wherever, they are desperate to gerrymander, to rig their maps. Desperate, right? So Indiana, this is so interesting to me. Indiana has control of everything. Indiana infamously used to be Democrats, right? They obviously are not anymore, but Indiana Republicans for this moment, and put a pin in this and see what they do. But they're saying no. right? They're saying they don't have the votes to rig their maps the way North Carolina has already said that they will, and Ohio and elsewhere.
Again,
and they're putting a full court press on them. And I'm watch this space, because Indiana Republicans might be saying, we see it too. You guys can shut down the government. You can run away from town halls. You can talk about hate rallies all you want. But this is bad for us. Like, we're going to try and cheat every which way we can. You're going to try and cheat. Why can't you just actually answer to your constituents and do the right things?
And the thing is because Indiana, the demographics are changing in Indianapolis and the surrounding suburbs there. And so they're now, whether that demographic change continues, because the economy is all fucked up now, but there's some interesting demographic changes in Indianapolis, in the surrounding areas there, that are trending a little more blue. And so, because there's the diversity of people coming there for different reasons. And so that's interesting. What they're doing in North Carolina, they're doing it again. They did the same shit in North Carolina, where they gerrymandered the districts, or probably Hakeem Jeffries would be speaker now if it hadn't been for what North Carolina did before. And now they're trying to do it again to get one more seat. Like, they're literally, talk about rigging the system. They're literally trying to rig the system.
11 out of 14 congressional districts in North Carolina will be Republican after we do this again. And I just want to say this, the extra seat that they're going to get in the first congressional district, until this, previously includes, right now, before they do this, all 8 of the state's majority Black counties.
Yes.
Now it's been redrawn. That's been redrawn to include more conservative leaning counties. So
the Supreme Court is going to consider the case, right? That's going to decimate the Voting Rights Act and let them do this.
The Supreme Court's already let them do this, because you can no longer redistrict based on race.
Right.
So these 6 Black majority counties are effectively disenfranchised. And the part about, look, Indiana, believe it or not, used to be a swing state. North Carolina is still a swing state. And to say that a state that elected a Democratic governor and a Democratic attorney general, and elects once in a while Democrats on the state level and the national level, all of a sudden deserves to have 11 of its 14 districts represented by Republicans. Under what insane scenario does the Supreme Court think that this is acceptable?
I hate it here. This Supreme Court, right?
Well, it's the North Carolina Supreme Court and the United States Supreme Court. And I say this every day, and I will say it again. All the ills of the world right now, you could lay the feet of one person, and it's not Donald Trump. His name is John Roberts.
Well, and Mitch McConnell. And you know, again, I used. Oh, sorry, Jojo.
No, please go ahead, because mine was a little bit off topic, but it was actually going to be so mean. Maybe it's the best.
I'm
from Mitch McConnell falling. Sorry.
I was going to say, was did it have to do with Mitch McConnell and a floor?
Sorry, it's not the best fall we saw last week, and I'm really not laughing at him falling. It was not the best fall we saw last week. That's for sure. Let's just put it there. Let's just put that there. If you saw the fuck around and find out fall, friends.
Well, yes.
Oh, that one.
Ass up. That man is a meme now. He's a meme. Sorry. Go ahead, Michelle.
I know. And he was a Giants fan. And I was like, I'm so upset about this. And I'm not claiming this asshole. And I think it was his energy that created the worst, absolute worst historic collapse in NFL history in the fourth quarter of my New York Giants on Sunday night that I can't even talk about it. I'm still reeling from it right now.
I'm so sorry.
The meme was I just posted, I blame this asshole. For all of it, for everything. This moving forward, everything.
If you guys haven't seen that,
the kicker got fired today, though, so that's good news.
Oh, he did?
Wow. He wasn't the regular kicker, right, Tara? That's not the regular.
The no is the regular kicker. He's been with us forever and ever, and he used to be fantastic, but he's older now, and he's hurt and gotten hurt a lot. And the Giants used to have the strongest kicking game.
Oh my God,
kicking matters, like kicking and time management, like certain things about football, like the nuances about the coaching decisions and things really matter. Field position matters. Knowing that you're going to make an extra point. Football is a game of inches. And to have this guy, he came in, they signed him because Gano got hurt, and he has missed like 3 field goals and 2 extra points already this season. And I said on Sunday night, he better fucking walk home from Denver. They better fire him before he gets on the bus. And I'm glad that they released him. They had to wait for waivers. That's probably why they did it.
But how do you let them score 30 points in the fourth quarter? Like, this is the thing.
Look, I know this conversation is going off because we're Giants fans here. Poor Michelle. But I will just say this. it is just as much on the defensive coaching staff as it is on the kicker. I mean, there were so many things. The defense, you can't let that go. I'm friends with Carl Banks, who is one of the most storied defensive players in Giants history, along with Lawrence Taylor and Michael Strahan and those guys. But Carl Banks is one of the OGs, and he is a color commentator for WFAN. He calls all the games. And thanks to SiriusXM, we can listen to the hometown games being called. So what we do is we put the game on mute on our TV, and I put the SiriusXM on so I can hear Carl Banks call the games, which is great. But Carl was apoplectic as a defensive champion of, Super Bowl champion Giants, Big Blue Wrecking Crew. He's like, you can't let that happen. Even when your offense screws up. Because Jackson Dart's a rookie. He's he's an offensive rookie. He's a quarterback. He's going to be great. But he made an awful mistake. But that's also the coach's fault. They called a pass play on 3rd and long in the 4th quarter with 5 minutes to go when they could have had Denver burn a 3rd timeout. And they didn't. And then it's the clock management part. And they wouldn't have had time to come back, please. But what did he do? He threw a freaking He threw an interception that led to a touchdown and ultimately started the whole thing to go down south. So brutal, brutal, brutal. But again, I blame ass up guy at the Denver No Kings rally being a jackass. And he put the juju on my Giants.
Sorry, that was my
Sorry.
Sarah and I, we went down that rabbit hole of falling and because of Mitch McConnell, and I don't usually cheer for that sort of thing, but the memes have been funny. But the memes have been funny.
They have. Yes, they will live on. Go ahead, Michelle.
Oh God, whatever I was going to say is not funny anymore. But
we'll get her over it.
Okay.
Well, we all know what Tara's over, which is the kicker of the Giants.
Yeah, I know. That's actually not. My over today was actually about the $230 million payout that Donald Trump wants to take from taxpayers because he seems to think that we owe him legal fees for the righteous prosecution of him and his crimes, which between, I think my over it and Joe's probably fit together because it is just part of the further destruction of our democracy and of our norms and institutions. And the fact that the president of the United States would utter these words, Michelle, I think you have, for those who have not seen it, this is what Donald Trump said yesterday about, riffing about how he is owed $230 million in legal fees because of the prosecutions against him. Our taxpayers through the Department of Justice signed off. The person who has to make this decision is Todd Blanche, his former defense attorney. And the fact that he said, it feels a little weird that I'd be paying myself. You think? Shit. I can't.
You're just very good.
Follow up on her question to you, because the New York Times is reporting that your legal team is seeking $230 million from your own Justice Department now in response to the investigations into you.
It could be.
Is that something you want your legal team to do?
I don't know what the numbers are. I don't even talk to them about it. All I know is that,
of course,
they would owe me a lot of money, but I'm not looking for money. I'd give it to charity or something.
No,
I would give it to charity, any money. But look, what they did, they rigged the election. And as you know,
we're back to this.
In one case, 60 Minutes had to pay us a lot of money. George,
Jesus, thanks, 60 Minutes.
Papadopoulos had to pay us a lot of money.
This is why you don't do it.
They paid me a lot of money because what they did was wrong. And, when somebody does what's wrong. Now, with the country, it's interesting because I'm the one that makes the decision, right? And, that decision would have to go across my desk. And it's awfully strange to make a decision where I'm paying myself. In other words, did you ever have one of those cases where you have to decide how much you're paying yourself in damages? But I was damaged very greatly. And any money that I would
You're sitting in the White House, you fucking asshole. I can't.
I hate him so much.
I can't. We're gonna wait, hold on. The guy who is barred from having charities is going to use our money and give it to a charity.
Yep.
Really, the charity is called himself.
Correct.
Same with the fucking ballroom, the charity, the money for the ballroom. It is all for himself. $230 million when we can't afford pediatric cancer research funding. We can't afford SNAP. We can't afford healthcare subsidies. We can't afford anything. We can't afford a railway project that's going to make sure people don't die in tunnels that take them from New Jersey to New York and elsewhere. We can't afford these things. Of course, all that's a lie, but we can afford to give Kristi Noem $171 million in private jets, and we can afford to give Donald Trump $230 million in pacifier money because he got his widow feelings hurt because the long arm of the law righteously came for his stupid ass.
Absolutely. And I would add to that, we have currently military families standing on lines in food banks in America, which should outrage everyone, including all of the MAGAs that like to hide behind their patriotism and the flag and our military. And Donald Trump is over here whining about $230 million of taxpayer money is owed to him. Like, you have got to be kidding me. It is so outrageous. And the thing about it is that they're using the idea that there's precedent for this. Yes, there's precedent for this when you are wrongfully prosecuted, like legitimately wrongfully prosecuted. And there's like a whole thing, it's called being a vexatious and negligent prosecution or something like that. And the thing is that Donald Trump is the vexatious litigant. Okay. He has brought thousands of lawsuits and tied up the courts over the years to avoid paying things or to intimidate other people so that he wouldn't have to pay. Or like what he did to the people in Atlantic City, as we all know here, bringing lawsuits against like little old ladies who didn't want to sell their houses for his eminent domain kind of, property grabs for his casinos, like, or the cabinet maker he didnn't pay who did the cabinets in Trump casinos. And then he decided to pay them at a cut rate and they lost their businesses. They tried to sue, but they couldn't because he mired them in paperwork. I mean, Donald Trump has been a vexatious litigant his entire career. So what does he do? He turns it around and tries to say, oh, I'm the victim. I'm the victim here. No, you're not. You're a criminal. You're convicted. And now you're using the Justice Department and all the levers of government to enrich yourself and to take care of your buddies and get people out of prison. He's going to commute Diddy's sentence now. That's the next thing. We had the Santos thing, all these people with fraud. Donald Trump is the biggest fraud. And here he is.
He's literally a business fraud.
Literally. And he goes after Letitia James because she got him convicted for the fucking fraudulent business practices he's been doing for 4 decades. And he has the audacity to say that he's owed 1 red cent of American taxpayer dollars. He incited a fucking insurrection. He should be in prison. That's where I want my tax dollars to go, where he should be in prison for treason.
And one of the things that he is saying that he wants to be reimbursed for is what he calls the Russia hoax. Now, I have about, I don't even know, 20,000, 30,000 words. I know why 2016 was not a hoax and why Russia interfered in the election. Like, truly, I've given up my life to writing the series. So I can tell you that it is especially galling to me that he is using this money to cover up what was the biggest heist of our democracy by a hostile foreign power. And it's not because I have information that everybody else doesn't have. And it's not because I have somebody leaking stuff to me. It is because I sat down along with Opal Outman and I put it all together, all the stuff that's in the public domain. And when you put it all together, you see exactly what happened and how disgusting it was. And the fact that this felon, who at best, and I mean at best, is a useful idiot for Russia, and at worst has been a cooperating agent on behalf of the Soviet Union and Russia since 1987 at least, and I don't know whether it was or not, but it wouldn't shock the hell out of me, is now going to use our taxpayer dollars to reimburse himself for the fact that Robert Mueller did the shittiest job of all time looking into this. Like, if anybody should be reimbursed, it should be us for Robert Mueller's half-assed efforts.
But Merrick Garland's.
Oh God, please. But in the meantime, back to this thing about, our military being on food lines. Don't forget that the big billionaire boner bill decimates our food banks too, right? It decimates nutrition assistance, which disproportionately impacts our veteran and military communities. So on top of that, and by the way, if any of you have any friends or family or loved ones who aren't getting paid right now, there's a loan that they can get that covers 1 paycheck, friends, 1 pay period. That's it. So you take all of these things and you put them all together, and this vice grip where he is just screwing the American people, many of whom voted for him, while telling us that he's going to take $230 million. How many people would $230 million feed? How many children would that feed? How many single mothers would that feed? How many military families who are still showing up and going to work for fucking free right now?
Yep.
How many? How dare you? How
Yep.
dare you tell them, tell all of us that they can just pound sand while you pocket $230 million and then gaslight us by saying you're going to give it to charity. The charity, friend, is the United States of America, the American people, the ones you are screwing every which way to Sunday because everything is more expensive. Your electric bills, you forget buying beef. Oh, and by the way, you're going to bail out Argentina and then buy their fucking poisoned cattle? Are you shitting me? Well, you've already destroyed our soybean farms, and now you're going to destroy our cattle industry. Even Tammy, and I call her Tammy, Tammy Lauren. Even Tammy Lauren is like, are you kidding me? Argentinian beef? Our cattle ranchers are going through some things right now.
Yes.
We need to put them first. You need to be helping them. But
where's the ads? Where's the ads?
$230 million for me.
I'm telling you, I don't know what the fuck the Democrats are doing on a national level. This is not hard. You do one of how he's betraying the military, like we did at Seneca. You do one about how he's betraying the farmers and our cattle ranchers, like bailing out Argentina. And then you do the one about him being like Marie Antoinette, let them eat cake with the ballroom and the $1 million a plate things at Mar-a-Lago, all this while people are suffering. This is not fucking hard. And you do one about healthcare. Also, I'm sorry, they should be doing one about healthcare. And believe me, if Seneca had the money, we would do it.
And he keeps giving you gifts, and this folds into my over it.
Yes.
Democrats, there is a horrible, terrible, physiological, mental, emotional, but physical example right now of what he is doing to this country. That is it right there. And I'm going to try not to ugly cry.
I know.
Because if you're not saying this is what he thinks of you, I don't care about the shit F-18, F-16, whatever kind of jet that was, the shit on the American people thing he wants to distract us with. I know that is gross. It is also representative of what he thinks about this country.
Yep.
But you need to show people that while you are cutting back on your food, your expenses, your bills, you're worried, you're stressed because you can't afford things while your family and friends are not getting paid and they don't know where those paychecks are coming from. While all of that is happening, what is he doing? He's tearing down the house that he is not. He's a temporary occupant of. He is not the owner of. He is tearing it down and he's lying to people by saying, oh, I'm not going to touch it. It's a perfect structure. It's one of my favorites, just like he said about the Bible. I want to puke. I know people say it's just a building. It is a distraction.
No, it's not.
It's not.
It's not.
It's our house. It's the people's house.
That's right. And that's what he thinks about all of us. And when we say no kings, no other fucking president in my lifetime has looked at that building and said, you know what? I'm going to tear it down. Sorry, Michelle, you can play that because I probably will keep screaming. I just want to say this. This does matter, and we have to pay attention to all of it. But what we're about to look at, well, this is a memory, but what we just saw is the physical embodiment of a monarch, of a monster, of someone who doesn't care about this country. And if Democrats don't start running with this, while this was being torn down, he was hosting a party for Republicans at Club Mar-a-Lago at the White House on the patio that he paved over Jackie's garden to build. A private fucking cocktail party for Republicans while our house was being destroyed in the background. So I just want to say, let's just segue to this video because I get so emotional because I was there less than a year ago.
I know.
And it matters.
It does.
This is all gone.
All gone.
All gone. And I knew I was saying goodbye, but not forever.
just can't believe this is all gone.
And he lied. I don't
Yep.
expect him not to, but he lied. And where are Republicans right now? Where
And
are they?
Not only did he lie, he also didn't go through the proper process. There's
No.
supposed to be a process for approvals and all these things. And he said, fuck that. Why would he
No.
care? He
Right.
spits and shits on literally on our American flag and the Constitution. Why
Yep.
would he go through the proper process to have any respect?
you guys-
We all know he hates the White House. He said it. He said it.
Who do we
Yep.
who do we blame for it? John Roberts, because there is absolute impunity. He can nuke the White House if he wanted to, and he has the right to do that as president. He could send Navy SEALs to murder all of us. He could do that as president because John Roberts said so.
Yeah.
So I just want to be clear for everybody in the chat who's saying that he can't do this, he can't do this. No, he can't do this. But who's going to stop him?
Yeah.
That is attitude. That is his attitude. Who is going to stop him? And our Supreme Court answered, nobody. And if
I would argue we would.
That's
They
why the
will stop.
marches matter.
That's why the marches
Saturday
matter.
matters.
That's right.
But my
And
point is,
elections matter.
At this precise moment, nobody's going to stop him. So vote in this election. If you're in California, my God, yes on 50,
Yep.
please, yes on 50. That is how we get our democracy back. If
Yep.
you're in Virginia or New Jersey, you know what to do. Down the ballot. Down the
Yes.
ballot. This is no time to start, this is no time to start thinking about ideology or your tax rate or anything else. You're not going to have a government that is responsive to you if this keeps going on.
There's one more clip I want to play. He was talking to, I don't know who it was. There's some press there or whatever. I believe this was yesterday.
For the evening, and some of the big foreign leaders have been coming. And
Oh, yeah,
most
this is the
excitingly, on the other
party.
side, you see the fence and the wall. We're building a world-class ballroom. For
Fuck
150 years, they've wanted a ballroom here. We don't have a ballroom. We have a little cocktail area, but we don't have a ballroom. The East Room, it's called, is a very small cocktail area. It holds about 88 people if it's tight.
88.
And I said, if I do this again, I'm going to get a ballroom built, and we're putting up our own money. With the government is paying for nothing. You
Bullshit.
probably hear the beautiful sound of construction to the back.
No,
It's not
hear that
construction.
and it's not beautiful.
That's music to my ears. I love that sound. Other people don't like it. I love it, Josh. I think when I hear that sound, it reminds me of money. In this case, it reminds me of lack of money because I'm paying for it. So it's the opposite.
And,
But it's
and
going to be one of the most beautiful
Liar.
ballrooms anywhere in the world.
Liar.
I'm gonna
Liar.
I'm
He's a
gonna
sociopath.
So let me just say this. The East Room was where I've been in the East Room several times. The East Room is where my legislation got signed, the Ending Forced Sexual Assault and Sexual Harassment Act. And there were a hell of a lot more people than 77 there that
Oh
day.
God, yeah.
He is full of shit.
Bullshit.
Yes.
It's just that the East Room is a beautiful, understated room with portraits of presidents going back to the 17th, to the 18th century, right? To the 18th century. When you walk in to turn into the East Room, that beautiful portrait of Michelle Obama is there. And
Not
I'm
anymore.
sure- not anymore. Well, I'm not sure if
Not-
he kept it.
I mean,
Well,
who
he-
knows?
No, he
But-
put his fight where Obama was too.
Right.
And he put the auto pen photo where
yeah,
Biden
where-
was.
That's in
But-
the
Oh,
president.
that's the other.
hallway.
Yeah, but the East Room and that entire corridor that Joe just showed going into the East Room is stunning. And Joe, you were at the East Room, I think, for the Christmas party. Wasn't that in the East
Yeah.
Room?
Yeah.
Yeah. It held a hell of a lot more than
Oh
77
my God.
people. I
That-
wish you would have had a private audience like that with just 77 people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
The reality,
full
the
of
reality is
shit.
that he's full of shit. He's
Yes.
full of shit. There's no reason for this ballroom. There's no reason for a patio.
No.
In the Rose Garden, other than he wants to turn this into Mar-a-Lago. That's why he's building the Arc de Trump, and everybody thinks it's hilarious that he's doing this. It's not fucking hilarious.
Not funny.
Because when he is gone, the next president of the United States is going to have to be spending taxpayer dollars to rip this shit up. Because as an American, I demand it.
I
demand this
agree.
I demand this Arc de Trump. It's going to cost a lot of money to tear it down. It's going to be a huge waste of money. It
Don't
needs
care.
to come down.
It's
Don't
no
care.
more of a waste of money than what they're doing now. So
Well-
you know what? I think there's a lot of people that would be worth it. My husband said the same thing. He goes, I hope that they just go, the next president comes in and knocks that shit down. I said, exactly.
Yeah.
The East Room, like the East Room, I think we've all had an opportunity to be in the East Room for at least once.
Yeah.
And I hadn't been in the East Room in a couple years since since President Obama. I think I sent the old pictures. That was like 2011 or 2012. 2011, I think those pictures were for the congressional picnic. I'd been in the East Room for events with George W. Bush. That's the East Room is where they give the Congressional Medal of Honor. I mean, that Presidential Medal of Freedom, where they do all of those, like, where they give the Purple Heart ceremonies and, like, stuff like that to all the, it was also the East Room where Donald Trump on election night in 2020 lied about the election being stolen. And it was that moment I was so offended and I was so upset about that was the moment I decided to leave the Republican Party for good, because it was in the East Room of the Capitol that the President of the United States would disrespect our constitutional order so badly, in that storied place, that I said I fucking had it and I was done. And I quit the party the next day very publicly. There are so much history and honor in that East Room, and for him to just tear it down and say it's a beautiful sound is such a microcosm for everything and how he feels about us as Americans, about our democracy, and about what makes America great. He hates it, and he's doing whatever the hell he wants. It's the biggest FU to the American people, and I just don't know how we sit back and just let this happen.
Where's George Bush? Where's George Bush, by the way?
I know. I'm so mad at him too.
Where's George Bush? Obama picks and chooses. I really wish he just got back into the fight. Obama picks and chooses when he's not hanging out with, his Hollywood friends. Biden, I think, is ill, or at least getting treated for cancer. So I'm going to give him slack.
At least he got through his first round of radiation, folks. I don't know if you saw that. He rung the bell, which was great. Yes. Yay, Joe.
Wonderful. Yeah. So I'm going to give Biden some grace on this. But Obama and Bush, Obama's coming in for Mikey Sherrill, and he's cut an ad for her, and that's nice. But where is the constant refrain as a former president? Why are he and Bush not sitting together and doing an ad together saying, this is, with exactly this footage, this is an assault on not just the people's house, not just the house where we lived as presidents, on all of us. This is a metaphor for what he's doing to America. He's taking a wrecking ball. I really wish Bush, last Republican president, the only living one.
I agree.
Get away from paintings in Texas. I know nobody likes Bush. I know everybody hates him on both sides of the aisle, but he's still the former president. He's still a Republican. It matters.
Yeah, and it does. It would make a difference, honestly. I mean, whatever. I mean, we can't leave anything, untested. This is the thing. We have to throw everything at this that we can. I just want to sidebar real fast on this because it's kind of funny and it sort of hopefully will make people giggle. But one of my favorite posts that I saw, which actually helped me kind of at least turn around for a second, was that not to tear it down, but to have President AOC let Jose Andres turn it into a soup kitchen. For battered women, like 90,000 square foot soup kitchen for Ukrainian refugees and battered women. Like it's 90,000 square feet, friends. It doubles in White House. But yeah, let's use it for something that would really, really piss him off.
Yeah. All right, Michelle, because I know we're a little tight on time today. I think it's your turn for the over it.
Have you done yours yet, Julie?
No, but go ahead. Mine's very short.
No, you go.
Well, so my over it is just the fact that people may or may not know that ICE invaded New York City yesterday. And if this is a harbinger of things to come after the next mayor gets sworn in, and this is a signal to interfere in our elections by saying, watch what I'm going to do if you elect Zohran Mamdani, it's not going to have the intended effect that he thinks it will. It's actually going to get people pissed off enough to fight back. There was almost a riot downtown yesterday. Thank God there wasn't. The NYPD, from what I understand, was fantastic. This is not the NYPD at all. This is ICE coming in and people screaming shame at them. And they're a bunch of thugs who have now come into New York City, the largest city in the nation, to foment a riot 2 weeks in advance of a mayoral election here. And I don't care if you're supporting Andrew Cuomo or Zohran Mamdani or that scumbag Curtis Lewa. All I'm going to say to you is, this is a harbinger of things to come for us. What they're doing in Chicago, what they're doing in Portland, what they're doing in LA is training for what they're going to do in the media capital of the world.
Yeah.
I am, as a New York City resident and as a New York City, somebody who loves the city with every fiber of my being, and somebody who sees immigrants on a daily basis on the subways. These poor people literally have children strapped to their backs, and they're trying to get by. Somebody who had a shelter for people who came here on my block, and watch these little, and this is going to make me start ugly crying, watch these little boys every morning watching my son go to school, and they looked at his sneakers, and I knew that look in their face. They wanted to be him. All these kids wanted was to be like my kid, with a normal, stable life and a pair of Nikes, that he could go to school every day and not worry about shit the way that they are. I know that feeling. I lived that feeling when I was their age. And the fastest way to get me to cry is to think about this, and to think about what they're doing to these children by snatching their parents off the street. They've been doing it downtown at facilities for a long time. Now they're hitting the vendors on Canal Street, the people who are selling bags. If you ever go to Canal Street, New York, who are these people harming? What American jobs are they taking away? So it's going to be some American who's going to sell you a fake Gucci bag, and not some immigrant. Come on.
It was supposed to be the gang leaders and the worst of the worst, and that's clearly not the case, and we're seeing that. And just a quick aside, I know we got to go because Michelle has a hard out today, but there's an article in the Atlantic about how ICE, all these people are failing the ICE physical fitness tests down at the Glencoe, Georgia federal facility for training, because they're letting all of these schleps come into ICE because they need to hit this 10,000 new deportation officer quota, and that they can't meet basic physical fitness, which is like 15 push-ups, 15 push-ups, 32 sit-ups, and a mile and a half in 14 minutes. Yeah. And they're failing left and right. And these are the people that they're just trying to push them through. And this is what and so they can go after immigrants who are just trying to make it away here. It's often. And
snatching them in courthouses. It's snatching them in, waiting for them in courthouses.
And school lines, right? School pickup lines, and showing and flashing guns at pregnant women in cars passing by. Like, they are out of control and they need to be stopped.
New York Magazine, which I urge everybody to go to their website to check out, has a beautiful and heartbreaking montage of photographs of people being snatched as they show up for their appointments at immigration, at families being separated, at mothers and children sobbing. Excuse me, I'm losing my voice because I'm about to cry. Sobbing at watching their husband and father is being taken away. These are not Trenda Orangwa, whatever the hell the name of the gang is. These are normal people who play by the rules. They are told to show up. So they do. And what happens? They get snatched. And I have a friend who just took her test to get citizenship, but she's a white European woman. She had no fear about getting snatched. If she were not a white European woman, if she were from Mexico or Venezuela or Guatemala, I would have told her not to show up for her citizenship test, even though she played by the rules and had a green card, because this is what they do. They wait for people who actually play by the rules, and then they screw them. Is this America? Is this who we are? I mean,
for now,
speaking to Tara's point,
America.
What are our grandchildren going to say?
Mm-hmm.
What are they going to say about who we are and what we did? And there are people in this country that still support this shit. Are you kidding me? Where's your humanity? Like, forget the politics. Where's your humanity when you see a mother separated from her child? When a child in Chicago was forced to sleep under a bed of some strange neighbor that she didn't know because he was sheltering her from being snatched by ICE.
Yep. Well, the good news is, right, it's crazy. The good news is that polling shows Trump is underwater on this issue. This immigration was his signature issue, and polling shows he's underwater on it. And even people who voted for him are not happy about this. So capitalize on it, Democrats. This is a political winner, not to be cynical, but like, these narratives win. You want to win, or do you want to, sit in the corner and just bitch and complain? You got to learn how to turn the narratives around and blame Trump for this suffering. That's what they do. It's called negative partisanship, and it works.
Amen. And don't lose sight of the Epstein files either.
Yeah, there's that too.
Also, I just learned about, I'm sure you guys have heard about the dead cat strategy. I'm going to write about that later today, but it's like, like when things are going really bad, you drag out a dead cat and put it in the middle of the table. That's what a lot of this is too. Sorry, Michelle.
You want to close us out?
No, I actually don't have time because my phone's been ringing. I had a call at 1, so I gotta go.
Oh,
but
shit.
we'll save it for another day. But I want to thank everybody for being here. Thank you for joining us today. Please like and subscribe to our channel. We're trying to grow it here, and we're so honored that you would spend your time with us. We'll be back here on Saturday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern for coffee and conversation. And until then, happy baseball, happy week. Everyone stay safe and stay vigilant and stay loud. We'll
Bye,
see
everybody.
everybody soon.
Bye.
Bye.